He says that there are right now 23,000 outstanding applications, and that the reason that those haven't been processed is because you obviously pulled back on your processing because you couldn't keep up that pace. Why don't you just sort of rubber stamp those refugees and bring them in, given that they are privately sponsored?
Well, look, let me first talk about privately sponsored in an international context. We are having a joint initiative, and tomorrow we will announce it, between Canada, George Soros, and the UNHCR, which is an initiative to sell our privately sponsored refugee program to other countries. I know of at least 13 countries who have a potential interest, and so I think this would do a service to the world, because I think it is far superior if you can bring in refugees sponsored by your own citizens than if those same refugees arrive irregularly or illegally. I know a number of countries have expressed interest, and so I am pleased about this announcement with those two partners to do more good in the world. In terms of our own local situation, we've brought in 3 or 4 times more resettled refugees in 2016 than in 2015. Why could we not bring in more? Because we're at capacity. So if you bring in 10,000 more Syrian refugees, you have to bring in 10,000 less of what? African refugees, spouses? We're at our limit. We couldn't do more. I regret that, but that's the facts.
Okay, well, let's go back to what I think was some news there that you just that you just told me about this what you're going to announce tomorrow with George Soros and the UN. When you say there are other countries are interested, they're interested in the model that we have set up, and you're going to teach them how to implement that. Give me a sense of what you're actually talking about.
There's one country that I've had discussions with and is in the process of implementing or has a model similar to our privately sponsored refugee, and that is England, the United Kingdom. There are other countries which I've spoken to, I know are interested, and there is still another group of countries I haven't spoken to, but I'm told they are interested. So this initiative involving George Soros, the UNHCR in Canada, will reach out to those with a potential interest. We'll teach them how we do this. We'll help them to implement such programs if they are interested. And I think it has the potential to do a lot of good, because, as I said, it's far, far better if you can bring in refugees sponsored by individual group of Canadians than if they just arrive at the borders all alone, illegally. So the more countries can adopt a system like ours, I think it'll be way better for those countries, and more importantly, way better for the refugees.
And what will we offer those countries? Training and just sort of in terms of how to get the program off the ground? Yeah.
Exactly. We have had this program for decades. It was a major program when we brought in all the Vietnamese boat people. That's how the numbers got so high in that case. It's been going since then, and it exploded again with the Syrian refugees. So we have the experience. We know how it's done. We know the pitfalls. We know what to do. We know what not to do. And so I think we can offer practical advice to those countries who are interested in going this route. And I do believe, based on our own experience, that it will be a successful thing to do.
And
I'm grateful to the UN and to George Soros for co-sponsoring this initiative with us.
And what does George Soros have to do with it? He's a billionaire. What role is he going to play in that?
Well, the fact he's a billionaire gives you a clue as to what he might do, which is to contribute funding.
Yeah.
And I know that George Soros is really interested in the whole refugee crisis, and so it is normal for him to partner with us on this initiative. And since, as you just said, he's a billionaire, I think that he will also provide some of the money.